Hey everybody, Mr. Rubo here. Today we're going to talk about dividing rational expressions. So we talked about multiplying them and it was just like fractions. Well, guess what? Dividing is just like dividing fractions. So if you had something like 1/2 divided by 3/5, well, because you are dividing by a fraction, you would take the second fraction and multiply by the reciprocal. And then you follow the same steps for multiplication. So 1/2 divided by 3/5 would end up giving us 5/6. Okay. Now, same idea, except we're going to have a rational expression. So let's say we have, I'm going to use the really ugly division sign, but it's fine. Divided by 6x squared y over xy to the fourth. All right, so at this point, because we're dividing by a fraction, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal, or 3xy squared. So this one stays exactly as it is, but now this becomes multiplication. And we have just flipped it. And now we multiply straight across. So just like we did on the last video over here, I'm going to write it as 2 times 5, and then that'd be x to the 5th, y to the 4th, all over 3 times 2 times 3 times x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd. And then at this point now we cancel the common factors. So that's the 2's cancel, no other numbers will. X to the 5th, x to the 3rd, well, these 3 will cancel with 3 of these, so we're 2 left. These 3 will cancel with 3 of these, so we got 1 left. So we end up with 5x squared y over 3 times 3, which is 9, and that's all that's left. All right, cool. Let's just do one more example of the division. And this time, let's throw a little bit more factoring there. So let's say we had 2x squared plus 4x all over x squared minus 4, equals, divided by x squared minus 3x plus 2 all over 3x minus 6. All right, so now, because it's division, I'm going to flip this second fraction, do the reciprocal of it, and while I'm also doing that, I'm also going to factor everything. So here, 2x, so x plus 2, x plus 2, x minus 2. Really, I could simplify that if I wanted to at this point, but for sake of just doing this, so now this is going to become my numerator, and I'm going to factor, and then my denominator is this guy, but I'm also going to factor that, x minus 2, x minus 1. All right, then I'm going to multiply straight across, so just connect it, right? And that becomes all multiplication. So 3 times 2 is 6, and that's the only number. X plus 2, x plus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2. So on the top, left with 6x. On the bottom, x minus 2, x minus 1. And if you wanted to multiply that out, you could, but usually leaving it in the factored form, it's usually best, so that way you know you're done simplifying. All right, sweet. So yeah, like I said, just make sure you multiply by the reciprocal when you are dividing, and then it's just like multiplication. So good job, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.